I'm coming at you with a massive attack. I'll leave you flat on your back, smack you with my mighty tackle. Bones will pop, snap, and crackle. This is a blitzkrieg, son. Sit down, I already won. Punishment has begun. Just let me reload my gun of ones. It's time to get off my pitch. Here I can help you with this. My shadow friend got a shiv, and he likes when you resist. Time to be quiet, don't snitch. I love the thrill of the risk. On day I spin like a disc. You know it deep in your soul. It's in your blood to roll. Bet every dollar you own. It's in your blood to roll. Man, this boy's out of control. It's in your blood to roll. You got some dice to roll. It's in your blood to roll. You know it deep in your soul. It's in your blood to roll. Bet every dollar you own. It's in your blood to roll. Man, this boy's out of control. It's in your blood to roll. You got some dice to roll. It's in your blood 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 to roll.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the playoffs. The first round proper has started, and we have a game in 5 minutes' time, roughly. And as you can see, the teams are out in front of you. A slight couple of alterations. Some of the bloats has been trimmed. Doc Mark getting into playoffs form here, getting rid of Ismark Kolanovic to get some extra team value in inducements and less team value in a level 3 zombie. They, of course, are going up against Mr. Bopnot tonight. The Confused Names, a stalwart team, and the 1700 Skaven is a scary, scary prospect. The only other note is that Bold Din Ater, I believe that must be one of the line rats, is leveled for block on a random, so a fortunate pickup there at the back end. I'm trying to figure out how to get my mic a bit louder, but I'm all out of ideas for the moment. And here is the core of the team. It is the two big gutter runners, Fatsar the second and Kitquark the fourth. Both Bloodstep sprint, both two heads. One of them will sure hands to pick up the ball. The other one is sure feet to score the one turn. And it's not quite movement 10 Skaven, but it's as close as you can get to that sort of toxicity. Movement 9 sidestep with sprint sure feet. You don't have to do much to score, especially when you've only got one stand firm on the undead. So there will always be a one turn for Mr. Bopnot, unless the super gutters get knocked over and knocked out, which will be a hard task because there's no tackle on the whites. This is a one season undead team, and while they have a lovely mummy with block guard stand firm, that's not quite as useful in this matchup. Going up against Skaven, they will just run away from the mummy. And indeed, Bratty Liz is a claw juggernaut. I believe that's juggernaut. Mighty blow killer. Although with a serious injury, but they'll be okay. And also tackle. Both blitzers have tackle. You have a Rackle stripper as well. Tet Feral the fourth. That's all you need in a sack and gutter runner. Claw grab. There you go. In chat. Well spotted. Yeah. So it would. Yeah. I was gonna say. In my head, the claw killer would take jugs to make sure that a block big guy doesn't then get to punch back on a both down, but grab is also useful for said one turn attempt. And there is, of course, one stand firm on each team. Stand firm blitz is kind of fun. I don't see that very often. We have a sure hands leader thrower, so no passing. In 092, the only passing Skaven, and he didn't even win a game this season, I don't think. Maybe he won one. So pure efficiency, pure try hard. It's Rebbl playoffs, and that's what we're here to do. So, according to the pin, there's a mere 370,000 in inducements, and unfortunately, Undead are one of the worst inducement teams. They really don't have much. So, well, I'm not proving why I am here casting and not actually playing the games, because apparently I can't read the skills. And he'll be off. Nice. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going here in terms of skill. It's because I'm reading it from OBS, and from a long way away, the Juggernaut and Stand Firm skills are frighteningly similar, is all I'll say in my defense. Maybe I'm just going blind. Yeah, 4 guard against 2 guard. The 2 strength 5 mummies are going to have to kill everything. The ghouls are in so much trouble because there's 2 mighty blow tackle pieces hunting them down at all times. And I don't know what Doc Mark will induce. He does have this dirty player zombie to go with. So he's hoping for probably a 2 bribe package. And I'm trying to think what undead can take. There's probably a superstar white they can take. I don't know the name of them. Let's see if I can have a quick look. Doc Mark profile. Oh god, he's playing a lot of Blood Bowl. He's got 3 pages worth of teams to go through. Don't worry, I know that I've not got the game clients up yet because I'll wait for them to be in game for them to do that. On page 3, no, page 2. Third, inducements, star players. What can they get? They do have tackle in Ivan Death Shroud. For 190k, it's strength 4, block tackle, juggernaut, and then disturbing presence. We will see. So he has Bryce Campbell, which is a chainsaw. I doubt he'll take that. I suspect it'll be Ivan Death Shroud, the tackle white. That's also strength 4, and its star player rule is a Dwarven Scourge. Fortunately, they're not playing against dwarves. But otherwise, it's looking pretty rough. Helmet's available, but I doubt he'll be taking helmet. We'll see. I suspect it'll be Ivan and a bribe. That would be my best guess here. But yeah, Undead, not a good inducement team. Very much designed for tournament play, so taking them into a Eternal League and then playing playoffs is always going to be difficult. The game's not on yet. Don't worry. I'm tabbing back and forth in the Blood Bowl client and sparing you all that by not showing the game footage. There is currently a game underway. Of course, Kunxian's playing Arctic Antarctic in a big matchup. Biscuit Reapers versus the Green Orc Reddens. That's a 1900 Orc versus 1800 Chaos matchup. We've got something a little bit more pedestrian, but not by much. And then obviously, in an hour's time, we have the late kickoff, which is currently completely uncovered. I might be able to get on it if this is a quick stomp, but we will see what happens. I suspect I won't be able to cover it though, and someone will have to get it on a replay. Tomorrow we're looking at some sort of double header about the same time. Again, we'll see who covers that. Chances are, well, at least one of them will be covered by me, the way things are going so far this off-season, unfortunately. So, if you're not a fan of my casting, you're not very lucky, because you've got a lot more of it on the way. And here we go. Let's get in the game, shall we? Game capture. 1 turn on, turn off. Right, I'm just having a quick once over. And I think that the audio levels are fine, so let's get in the game. Oh, no. Here we go. Ivan and Wizard looks to be the play. Here he comes. Strength 4 white. And the kick is up, and the toss is up. And it's down. And it looks like Unearthed Arcana has won the toss. And it's kind of an interesting call here as to what do you want to do if you're undead going up against Skaven? They'll choose to receive, and the logic, I suppose, is look, let's at least try and get 3 line rats dead, and then go from there. And if we have enough Mighty Blow, hopefully, to do the job on some line rats. So let's go and hit this K button and go over to inducements. So Unearthed Arcana has taken a wizard, I believe. Doesn't appear here, unfortunately. But as you can see, no other sundries. Maybe this might be a temp cheerleader, just to tidy things up. I think it's wizard. Wizard is 150, the star player is 190, and so that would about add up in my head. That's about 340,000, and then 360,000 is the extra temporary cheerleader. So that's what we do, and we go for the classic offset here. Skaven, protect 5 offset, force the big guys away from your star players, and if the kick is over here, then you're in business for an easy W. It's the Skaven. The downside, of course, is surf threat, but undead don't have any surf threat, so we're all good there. Thrower stays out, and the 1 turning rat also stays out, as you would expect. But the backup 1 turner, an all-around good rat, is available to be punched, as is the Sacker, as is the Horn Sacker, who is under development, sated prey. Made it to Horns wrestle. Not quite the finished article. Since, you know, Lord Brainlord, sorry, calling for the frog. Love to see it. A tactical frog on the one-turner is a good solution. Especially against the strength 2. The frog is actually quite decent. And yes, here we go. Ivan, the animal Death Shroud, will be the star player on the pitch today. His special rule only applies to dwarves, so we don't have to think about it for the duration of this match. He has Disturbing Presence, he has Strip Ball, he has Juggernaut, he has Tackle, he has Block, and he has a strength of 4. But only movement 6, so you can definitely get away from him if you're a gutter runner fearing for your life. In comes the kick. We do have a kick line, right? So I expect the kick to be landing over in this sort of quadrant, this top left quadrant of your screen. Although a deep kick doesn't hurt too bad. Simply because we're that quick. Anyway, the kick is in. And it is a deep kick. We go deep left. And we take a timeout to cut a turn off the drive. That's 1 less blitz, 1 less foul for the Unearthed Arcana. And I would say a good result for the Skaven there on the kickoff. We will cover up the ball. Although there is a gutter runner in range. So we do actually have to cover up here and burn a Ghoul's activation just to keep things safe. And in we go. Azalin Rex. Undead really looking for a fast start. Just a stun. That won't be good enough. In a match this is complicated. We want to get the line rats out and force the good players onto the pitch. And get Bob not to start making choices as to which rat he wants to survive. I think we're really going to feel the lack of Mighty Blow on these 2 whites. Getting up to 4 guard on Undead is a really easy way to win Fresh Division games. And that's what he's gone for. And it did get him to playoffs, but the lethality will be lacking against the Armor 8+. Yeah, just stuns. And where are we fouling? The line rat with Frenzy is the obvious choice. But the zombies are so slow, it is actually quite a strong commitment. And yeah, we're going to be very relaxed here. I doubt we will even blitz, if I'm being honest, because we've only got movement 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would leave Ivan exposed to a claw hit, should we choose to blitz. Newt in the chat. Good evening, Newt. Oh, sorry, good morning, Newt. I should say. Wait, Newt's American. Yeah, good afternoon, Newt. We got there in the end. And now we're saving for our pickup. And if we click on Tet Feral, these ghouls do not have the sure hand skill, so the strip ball of Tet Feral is absolutely in business should we step forward. We do fail the pickup. In an instant reroll, we don't trust this screen, especially against Skaven when Santa Markova is standing right here begging to be blitzed with the guards plugging in. That opens up a very easy 2+ dodge a lot of the time. And even though it would be from tackle, well, actually it might not be from tackle if we can stay. But yeah, we cover it up with Father Donovich. No foul, and there's no bribe in house, so we can't really justify fouling a line rat with this guy. So we are going to have to rely just on the Mummy's Mighty Blow, and it didn't do the business on the LOS. No removals. Yeah, I agree. My pet peeve also is when you make a big time play to try and win the game on the last activation. If you hear the, like, I don't know how to describe it, like the book flipping over. Oh, nice break here. We do find a blitz. I don't really know why that screen pops up. But we are... Okay, we take the rat. I see, and I understand now. We'll just roll a cheeky 2+ to get out of dodge. And there's a nice safe space, so even if Ivan does hit the floor here, there's little chance of a gang foul coming in on him. Yeah, the end game sound, exactly. Ruins the vibe. I want to know if I don't want to know if my 6+ pass has failed until it gets thrown the wrong way. But yeah, first turn over. Unfortunately, no blitz for Doc Mark. That is why the Bopnot didn't go for the more suicidal setups you can do. You can go something like, you know, player here, player here, player here, gutters in this wide, this tile, and this row, I should say, and then they can really start going deep. But it does expose you to a blitz and walk away. Yeah. If anyone wants to see the second game cast, you're hoping for a quick match here, because it starts in about an hour. Sorry, 50 minutes. So I hope so if you're a fan of a double header in G-Man, it will be a quick 2-0 or a quick 3-1 or something. Otherwise, I'm afraid we'll be missing out on the final game of the evening. Yep, we are going to pick off, looks like the guard white blitzer here. It is movement busted as well, so once it goes down, it gets up a lot slower. And in comes the star blitzer, Ratty Liz, one of the OGs on the team. And that is not good enough. Because grab is not Juggernaut, as we found out in the pre-show. Well, I'm glad my either you're very slow or my casting is very poor, for you not to realise that. And we will go for the early reroll and don't get a knockdown from it, but we just don't want to risk losing this guy. It's a long way to run over and blitz, especially when there's zombies right here. Wanted the higher value target, burnt a reroll to get it, and that's one less reroll for the sack and the recovery. Although it does have to be said, when your sacking and recovery options are this good, maybe you don't need more than 2 rerolls to do the sequence. We will screen off Ratty Liz and screen off our gutter runners. Mummies will only have block line rats to deal with. And it looks like we're offering up some prime real estate in this left-hand wide zone. Although Skaven doesn't really care about giving space, because when they're movement 9, especially the sprinting guys, it doesn't really matter where they stand, they can kind of go anywhere. So this is a bit of a false friend to the undead, I would say. Especially when the mummies are on the left-hand side. I suspect, so no fireball. And it'll be the classic, how long does the coach is scared of activating the wizard incessantly. Dockmark, however, is an old hand and quickly does away with the UI. And the ball comes up into the meat cube. Best way to stop the dodging in gutter runner is just put the bodies in the line, and they physically cannot get to the ball that. Of course they can chain push, but mummies are strength 5 and this one's got stand firm, so you're kind of hoping the chain push doesn't work. And yep, it looks like we are going to go now and take a blitz on R. I suspect the blitz will be on R Brutish, because it gives up a follow-up hit on with Azalin Rex in case of a non-knockdown. You might even see Dockmark taking the push just to guarantee a Mighty Blow block instead of a regular knockdown. Though tell a lie, it looks like we're actually going to go after the Frenzy, more likely to knock the piece over. So there is some sense there. And we are going with the Mummy to guarantee a 3-die hit with Mighty Blow. Is the best way forward. Never mind, we're not doing that. We're going for the kicker with block, and we'll step up and take a shot. No break. Pow. Will the mummy come over here? I doubt it. It's a little bit too isolated. Yeah, we'll even step back. With that paranoid, and against 1800 Skaven, you do have to be quite paranoid as the attacking coach. The upside, however, is all these skills for the Skaven are protecting these line rats better than the line rats could ever protect themselves. So many of the resources are committed to protecting the ball that these 3 down line rats can get up and walk away very easily. There's no wrap up, there's no threat of a gank foul. So the Skaven coach will be happy to sit on 11 players. We might not even see these rats stand up, because the Boulder-native rat is in an incredibly strong position here, in my opinion. Obviously, you'd prefer them standing up. But while he's on the floor, he has to be respected. There's someone who can cancel some tackle zones. Just get up, of course. And yeah, so we've given up a couple of extra hits here on zombies. And we do, in fact, have a square to push through. Although it won't do too much. Because I'm just thinking, we do have a Juggernaut Blitzer here, Patchy Run. And we do also have a guard. And we can also place a player here, but it would be a 1-die. And yeah, we aren't going to do that. We are going to go and punch a zombie. Take the pre-offered zombie here. But Ratty Liz, slow start. Just warming up still. Hard to get excited about punching a zombie. They very rarely stay down. And you know, we have to decide if we want to take the frenzy block, we're going to have to leave somebody available. No, never mind. We don't even do that. We've got Boldin Ater. The newly minted block clan rat lineman is ready to provide the assists. It's very difficult to see how Docmark gets forward here. His only options are really to blitz a line rat with a mummy and hope to get rid of it. Because there's certainly nothing of value on offer here. All the positionals happy to hang out behind the meat wall. And it's pretty thin meat. Right, Ulias will go blow for blow with a mummy. And although you would favour the mummies, they have to start working at some point. There we go. And the poor man's tackle does the job against the wrestle. Down they go. And it's a very perfect screen. Not a single square available for the undead to work with here. In response, Docmark's gonna go hunting. Trying to tie up some line rats here. The tackle gets involved. We're going to mark up here and take another big time shot on Ragtag Bear the third. Getting the kick out of the game would be quite useful going into a longer match. But we can't come up with it. A 1 in 27, and if it wasn't for this block skill, the mummy would be downed. Unfortunately, Aslan Rex has accumulated quite a lot of SVP. One of the few level 4 pieces to come out of this fresh season. The cage is based. Although not in a particularly dangerous way. Because the two pieces involved do not have guard. And the best guard squares, they're occupied by line rats. But Docmark can always just dodge away on a 3+ and bring in a guard. And there we go. The extra piece, the insurance, comes in. And now this block is difficult, really. He's got to keep the guard by the ball, which means that these blocks on the outside are always going to be doable for the Skaven. They will slowly walk forward, keeping this guard triangle so that the blitz in is going to always be red die. Although with strip ball, there's no real good answer here. You have to hope, or the only hope is that this guy rolls a skull at some point in the block sequence. And if it's only 2 red die, it's not a very likely result. Essentially a double 2+. And elves do those sort of dodges all the time. Mr. Popnot, sit and have a think here. 1 minute gone. No activations. We're going to have a little think as I say that. And here we go. We're taking the fight to them. Getting this 2 dice on the guard white for free. And down there you go. There's 2 Boldinators on this team. Trying to pad the Boldinator kill stats by having 2 Skaven line rat named after him. Not really in the spirit of the meme, considering it was a dwarf lineman. The whole point is they don't die very often. And are we trying to find a hit for Ragtag Bear? We cannot get the assists needed whatsoever. So I suspect there could be a lot of pain in the rat future. The OG was a troll slayer. Thank you, Lord Brainwood. We are RSC. It's a cheeky red die on the non-block mummy. Absolutely worth. And this is our shot on the ball. Big time hit. Feral gets into the lane. It will only be 2 red die. We still have a reroll for this. But we don't need it. Strip ball does its work. And the ball goes down. The strip on Baba Saga. And there's quite a lot of good scatters here, assuming that the ball doesn't get caught. And that guy's not a catch. And it's a very good situation for the Skaven. We let that one go. And it's down in the open. We can definitely swoop in on this. We try and dodge out. And we fail that dodge away from the tackling white. And away we go. A bit surprised we took that, considering we are dodging from tackle. Because now there's no reroll for the pickup. Although, yeah, it does have to be caveated. This Skaven team is so strong that there will probably be another hit on the ball next turn, even if the undead recover. And we're going to swarm it with rats. Might try for a little opportunistic pickup. We're going to get a scoring threat. The Sated Prey wants another 3 SVP, wants to get another sacking skill. And now we've got a Sure Hands pickup on a 3+. So we're making the same roll that these ghouls, were making earlier. And if it does work, I think we will see them just run through. Anyway, in we go. We roll a 4. No worries there. And through we go. The dodge skill's needed. But we don't snake and we get out of dodge. We don't have Sure Feet and we don't have a reroll. So we're probably not going to go much further. And indeed, we've got enough of a screen. The one zombie that can block is absolutely surrounded by rats. And most importantly, there's a guard behind the play. So regardless of what happens, this will probably be red dice if we want to take it uphill. Then do we zap the ball? We do. Down they go. It's a frog on the field. Sitquark has been turned to a frog, everybody. Armor 5+. Although with very long legs. But I don't think this guy has hands. So let's have a quick zoom in here, because we don't see this every day. Little froggy out on the pitch. It is a very cute little model, isn't it? Anyway, enough of that for now. Titchy piece. Turn 4 frog. Not used. The 1 turn is now free to do. No frog threat. But at least they didn't score this turn. Dogmark's in a real tough spot. This mummy's got to make a big time hit. And even then, it's so screened off. It's going to come down to the Father Donovich block here onto the Gutter Runner, because we need the tackle. This Gutter Runner needs to go down. We need to get over here to pick up the ball. We can get a knockdown, but no break. We only roll a 5. And that will start to wear at the mental. At the undead. Big time blitz. We do get the knockdown. The tackle zombie. They were laughing. It is getting some big value here. Can he find the break? Yes! And a KO. Nice removal. Sated Prey won't be scoring today. At least not on this drive. Now we do have 2 rerolls left, so we could make some go for it here if we wanted to make it to the ball with tackle. Must be very tempting, considering our other tackles. Our tackle star player is latched on to Patchy Run. And this is not break tackle, it's Juggernaut, so they're probably not getting away. And just like that, they're down 2 gutters. And with 1 on the bench for the 1 turn, they've only got the 1 guy left. And it's dedicated Saka, not a very good ball carrying piece. And this frog will be around for a while, 4 more turns. For the level 6 gutter to return to his slightly healthier form. And it looks like we're just going to try and get a few punches in on line rats, because the Skaven went all in for this. As a result, there'll be a lot on the table. The dodgers are in. The pickup is no worries on a 4. But the frog is an assist. I'm pretty sure it counts as an assist, even if it's titchy. There we go. Save is in. We do have a punch. He's evaluating. Do I punch with Mad Mary on the line route, or do I bring them over to get in the way? But I don't know if they can get into anywhere super useful. We do need them to cover though. There's just too much threat. Too many storm vermin and gutters. We don't take any rushes though. And the most important thing is the Skaven cannot score next turn, so you don't have to be too fast and loose. We'll take a fadeaway block with our star player to end the turn. We will both down it. Keep them on the mummies. So we've put out the fire for now. But there'll be more problems to come, I'm sure. Big knockdown there, though. Well worked. Top Nut will be happy the wizard's gone this early, but they won't be super happy with how this has gone. At least nothing important has been removed yet. Nothing at all has been removed yet, really. Just a KO on the worst gutter, so. I suspect they'll be alright. The downside is no reroll Skaven, everything gets quite hard. Because the double back-to-back 2+, it can and will fail. And when that does, if that does fail, they're out of options realistically, because the mummies are slowly starting to get into this cube of line rats and zombie and storm. The storm vermin are getting tied up, is what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way. And these two line rats are away with the fairies. They've got a block on the white, but it's a 1 in 9 risk, so it's a bit rough to activate them early in the drive. Yeah, we're just going to go for the ball again. When in doubt, get the ball down and go from there. But we're really right. We're out of support. Our support is a frog. We get the knockdown though. Just like that. And it's a bit cursed because we don't really want the ball to go out of bounds. But we also don't want... Yeah, we're going to take the risk it goes out. Not wanting to bring the ball over to the gutter. And that's a pretty decent scatter, all told. Ideally, we obviously wanted it in our own hands in courts, but failing that. Because the worst 3 scatters out here, and then, I don't know, back over here, where the ghoul, anywhere that this ghoul can pick up outside of the crowd throw. And I think if the ball goes out here or here, there's pretty much every square to work with. But yeah, going into the bank now. Both coaches already down 2 minutes. But I say that, we've gone fairly quick here. First half's almost over. I think the timeout took more time off the clock than you think. In terms of like the time bank and game time. Not the turn time, the game time. Because I think we're trying to figure out how do we get out of this jam. Because we do have this one guard, but it's a bit rough. Can't block the zombie because of this mummy. Can't really block the mummy. I suspect that Bopnot is preparing themselves to throw some red dye into the mighty blow pieces, which is never preferable. Sometimes you don't have a choice. I say this though, we should, if we can stand up on Brassy Liz, we will be able to 1-die hit this zombie, but it's very slim pickings. And we're going to try and we free up a line rat, get them stuck on the tackle. Where is the frog? Frog's providing an assist. Good on the frog. And that is a failed dodge. But the floor doesn't have mighty blow, so we are all good. There, guys, we're all good. Stun isn't amazing, but that does mean the kick is probably safe for the next defending drive. Where they will be very useful for the Skaven. Because they can simply do this again, and there won't be a frog option next time. Finally a break. Can we get a removal? No, we can't. It's a level 6 blitzer. Stunned on the deck. But as I said earlier, this dirty player is now marked up by a line rat, so it'll be a bit of a job to get the foul off, as well as keeping the ball safe. I believe in him. We're getting blocks, which is always good. Hoping that the line rats eventually get off the pitch. Some red on the top as I speak it into existence. Another line rat down. Or a line rat down. I keep forgetting that this piece isn't a line rat. In my head they are, just because they're not almost a legend. But they are in fact a gutter runner. An extra assist. And the audacity of marking Father Donovich might get punished. The big man himself. But first off, our blitz activation. We're going to go after the gutter. The sacking gutter. We roll a 6. Very timely. Begging for a break here is Doc Mark. And he gets it. And an injury. Oh, and it's not one you can power Apo just like that, because it's a serious injury. Chance that we don't see this piece again. We are going to Apo though. It is the playoffs, of course. You got to Apo your positionals. And it's into dead. So Apothecary is not effective. And 2 rats in 2 blocks for the Unearthed Arcana. That is a sigh of relief. When you burn your wizard, you want to trade out the sacking piece for it, and Doc Mark's managed to do that. The other one knocked out as well. These ghouls suddenly got a lot better and a lot safer. And this might be one of the rare good... It's probably a good thing for Doc Mark if he doesn't score here. No 1-turn chance for the Skaven. 1 KO roll for his backup sacker. The downside, of course, will be trying to defend against defending against this gutter runner is an impossibility. They only need to get to here in 7 turns before they can score. So Bopnot won't, the alarm bells won't be ringing yet for Bopnot. As long as this piece exists and has the ball in its hands, the chances of a nice 6 turn or 5 turn stall out for 1-0 are very high. And they'll be forced to be thinking about that, not wanting to re-roll early in the second half, so they won't be re-rolling their push skulls, their push both downs for tempo. And the ball is back up. And as I was waffling on about a 0-0 drive, Doc Mark's quietly going and getting a 1-0 drive. Suddenly there's not a lot left in front of the ball, and what is left in front of the ball is either downed or stunned. Last block of the turn doesn't get the goods, but I'm sure that Donovich will follow that up, and they do. And with a frog and a couple stunned rats, there's not too much we can do here. If we just take a quick appraisal, downed rat, stunned rat, stunned rat, downed rat, frog. It's really just a frenzy rat and a line rat here and a dream. Although Bratty Liz can get out and, well, get out and do what? Only strength 3, no horns. Ivan's, of course, strength 4, so there's no easy blitz. And after going in a heavy overdog favourite, Bopnot will be a little bit miffed, I might say. Though it might be hard. This is such a big removal here. This block. Critical. Baba Isaga on Tet Feral. Tet Feral taking an injury and the Apo not working is, well, it's just pivotal, isn't it? It's one of the highlights of the match so far. And I think the mental of the coaches as well. Doc Mark mentally, you'll be right in it now, and Bopnot will have to try and find a reset here. That might be what we're seeing. I think we are seeing a bit of a reset, because there wasn't too many things he could do this turn, and we've taken a minute. I think we might have just had a relaxing sort of, okay, you know, this drive's not gone well, this drive is over. And oh god, that's another KO. But hey, if he scores, we get a 1 turn. If he scores, we get 2 KO rolls. So we're going to be fine. Yes, I'm pretty sure, Newt, it's an end of drive change. Although I'm very happy to be wrong. If this thing's a frog for the rest of the game, I think somebody would have called me out if that was true, because I've already mentioned it coming back just being a frog for the drive before. But hey, I could be wrong. You never know. We can potato with impunity. And I think I want to see a Vecna blitz potentially here onto the frog. I really want to hit the frog with Mighty Blow, because the armor will, oh, we don't do it, because the armor is going to break naturally on the frog because it's only armor 5+, and getting a +1 on the casualty roll with no Apo against the best gutter, the second best gutter, even in frog form, would be an excellent kill. It's permanent in the new update, but it's now temporary. Yeah, that's an interesting change. Makes the wizard a lot better, doesn't it? You might just see some turn 1 bolts on gutter runners and wood elf catchers if it stays as a frog for the whole game. That's a pretty brutal. It's like a guaranteed removal almost on a strength 2. Well, not guaranteed. It's a 3+ check. But you know, a strength 2 piece will live in fear of frog mode. And yeah, here comes the foul, I suspect. We free up the big man. We're thinking about whether we want to wrestle down, but we will just take a push. Don't want to complicate things. Force a 3+ here. And in comes the rush for the huge foul on Bratty Liz. Makes it. In comes the pain. No red text, but no send off either. 7 into a 6. Frog potentially surfed, but as I said earlier, the frog really wants to be hit with Mighty Blow as hard as he can. I suspect we might see, how far can this mummy go? We might see the frog run over here to this square potentially, or maybe this square. so that the mummies can't punch it, and then we take a tackle shot. But yeah, I agree, Yayo. Nothing too permanent. And with the leader reroll next half, the rats will be just as happy to throw all the dice to get cheeky scores. As it stands here, there's not a lot left on the table for them. We are just going to use our blitz activation to run away. Pure Skaven tactics. Unfortunately, we've sacrificed Boldinator to the crowd, and our Brutish is going to head over and try and help out the frog. Frog uphill? Question mark? This isn't as safe as he thinks it is. Although actually, it might be enough. We're going to try and leap. Oh, the frog knocks itself out. We should not have tried to leap with the armor 5+ piece, I'll tell you that much. And, oh, KO for shit Quark. Now, does Darkmark even want to score here? The answer, of course, is yes, he does. He will risk the 2 KO rolls. Because sometimes, even on the 1 KO roll, they all come back. And then you've just lost the game. So you do try and score. As he hugs the cribble there, fun celebration. The temp cheerleader hired for the game gets out there. And some huge KO rolls. I'm scared of skipping the KO roll. So we'll let it ride for a bit. But 1-0 to the undead. And that is 3 rats springing up, including both gutter runners. So good thing we scored is what I'm going to say. Good thing we scored. Now, time for the main event. The one turning rat. Special teams. He's been warming up on the sideline. And Fatsar, ironically named Fatsar for the gutter runner, will step out. What is the setup going to be? Because they don't need to get far. I don't know what to do. In my opinion, when it gets to this point, all you can do, because he doesn't have Nerves of Steel, so you just try and get as many bodies in the way as you can and make the catch roll as difficult as you can. Make the catch roll be a -3 assist thing. But with grab on the table, with a Juggernaut, he might even, it's because it's movement 9 Shiffy, you could even just put the gutter here, you know, and catch it, and you'd probably still be able to find a way. It would be a lot more pushes. Anyway. No reroll is saving grace, and that's probably why you got to make a serious effort here. Because the mummies themselves will limit the amount of block dice, which means that there's always a chance it's just a skull pow, and then the 1 turn doesn't work. Although actually with movement 9 sprint you only need 1 push, so not even that's a safe out here. And I suspect this will be where most of the time bank goes, because Dockmark won't want to lose to a misposition here. Put all the guard in, makes sense. Strength 5 on the corners, and 3 guard, so going to try and poke out the middle is just impossible, because you'd only get 1 dice. No horns on a strength 3 piece anyway. But yeah, the Frenzy Rat stayed out. Tep Feral's obviously injured, and the rest are good to play. And yeah, we get the leader. We have a leader reroll. How does leader work again? Let's have a look. Yeah. So, does the fact that he's not played the leader on turn 1 mean that the leader was removed, and therefore the reroll doesn't exist for this turn? Is that how that works? Nope, it is not how that works. He gets the reroll now. So his leader steps out to the field. And it will probably, yeah, he's going to go sit in the backfield and be the pickup man. And here is the special Mr. Sir. Now I think we'll probably end up grabbing this guard away from the mummies and going from there. It's actually not a terror. It's a pretty it's a very easy 1 turn. Simply the fact that these guys don't have stand firm. We can grab the Lord Argynvost to this square, then stand the 1 turner here, fill this square up, and then just block from here. And it's an easy push. We could probably even maneuver our rats to get a 2nd push. This is like locking up your cigarettes. I wouldn't know, I didn't smoke. Yeah, as you can see, sated prey, counting to 9. And so we're looking at, yeah, see the gutters, if you're new to Blood Bowl, this gutter, and this thrower cover almost every single square of the kick. And this isn't like a throw teammate play, so even if the ball ends up back here, we can always run over, hand off to the thrower, and the thrower will then throw a quick pass. So that's why orthodox one turns are better usually. Now, here is our grabber. And this isn't enough at the moment. I don't think it's enough, unless grab works. Unless you can grab to this square, even though there's available squares that don't have players in. In my head, you could only grab to these 3 squares because you filled all these up. I'm very happy to be wrong. And I suspect if I am wrong, we're about to see it live on stream. Yeah, of course the difficulty here is there is 3 guards. So if we're trying to take a grab shot, we can only really get 1 die for the grab. And that's what we're thinking here. I think what is going to happen here is Bopnot's going to try and take this block here onto Vecna maybe. To try and remove one of the guard and make the 1 turn easier. See what they go for. And in comes the kick. We have an on the ball thrower. A lovely pick up there. Thrower gets nice and close. Might even be able to catch it. And a solid defense for the 1 turn. Oh wow. A gift from Nuffle for the undead. They can now set up however so they like. And I suspect it'll be a long line of guys. Certainly a player will stand here to make the catch harder. Or will they though? This is an interesting thing because Dr. Monk has to make sure that he doesn't inadvertently... You see this happen quite a lot. A coach sets up against the 1 turn, they then get a perfect defense, having seen how the attacking player wants to do it. But what they then do is gimp their 1 turn defense setup and actually make it easier for the opponent to do said 1 turn. Which is always quite funny to see happen. Yeah, we'll face off here, tackle onto the gutter. Unfortunately, we didn't select to move Doru, so we can only put 1 guy on Civic Park, the 4th. So, at least we're forcing a 2+ from tackle at the end here. But yeah, we're going to line it up. And with this lineup of boys, the actual block, unless I'm completely wrong about grab and he can grab down to the left here, which I don't think you're allowed to do. I think you have to put them in an empty square even if you've got the grab skill. But it's been a while since I've played with Ripper. I don't like this guy standing here. I think this is a huge mistake, to be honest. I think it's now incredibly easy. Well, not incredibly easy. It's now doable just to blitz onto Santa. And then you just fill up every square and the gutter gets to sidestep up here or up here. Oh yeah, maybe. I think you've got the jugs. I forgot that the jugs I had frenzy. Well spotted. Oh, it's going to be harder to do that now. Yeah, I think... Oh god, yeah, no, we're definitely not covering the next game because there's no hope. So it's already 20-9, we've barely made it to halftime. So we'll be here we'll be watching these guys for the duration. What can Patchy Run do? What can any of these guys do? It's going to be some 3+, whichever way you slice it. And yeah, this lineup of 3. What can we do? There's just too many boys here. I suspect we can always Boldenate a block for a 1 die onto Argynvost, empty up that square. Because the kick's nice and shallow, we can hand off after we've done the pushes. Or even throw a quick pass after we've done the pushes. That's not the problem. So I would probably fill this. It's rough though. It's rough because you need to refill in these 3 squares for the sidestepper. Although alternatively, you can sidestep to here. Yeah, actually, that's probably a better way you do it. You put someone here. Blitz. Put somebody here. Blitz into the side. Oh, you can't though. It's to cancel the guard. Oh, it's tough. We're gonna red die push. Works. We're just trying to get one of the guards out of the way. Try and make this a bit easier. And yeah, I was right. You can't grab to this square. Stay put. That's opened up a space for our boy to go on the side step. Downside, of course, is this is now a 1-die blitz unless we can find another assist. Which Patchy Run can be that extra assist. I think they should end up being that assist. And that will have to do once we do it like that. Okay, we're going to do the handoff now. We realize we're only going to get 1 push, so we'll try this one. And we make it on a 5, and you're now very scared if you're an Undead fan, because this was probably the hardest roll of agility that Fat Tsar had to make. Although this is a 4, I think this is actually a 4+. Yeah, and in comes the Blitz to get our sidestep. Cheeky red die, always good when you got the box skill. We get some box cars. And we'll sidestep into position. No real line to make this easier. We're just going to have to roll a 3+, 2+. And here he goes. 3 rerolls. No problem. In fact, the rerolls going up to 3 cheated us out of any tension because it shows that the rolls have been successful. The game was already into the second half. 1-1. And the last rat comes back. So no damage done apart from this 1 injury. Which, although a good injury, it would require Docmark to attack again for it to be a good injury. And I suspect Docmark will stall this as long as they can. The 1 turn works, despite the best efforts in a perfect defense. Skaven are just that annoying. They try and figure out how to defend against these. I think the answer is you're not worried if they run through you. You're worried if they can just keep ball in the backfield for 5 turns. Surely he can't hope to stop them. Full roster of Skaven players on attack. You've got 2 killing gutter storm vermin with all the trimmings, taking shots on you every turn. Eventually, you'd like to think if you're a Skaven coach, one of your storm vermin will get something away. But yeah. Go for the classic chevrons here. Slightly offset LOS to try and force a juke or a misposition. We've left an opening here, but the opening is based around the block firm guard mummy, so it's not that much of an opening at all. Although the way that the rats have been playing, they might just red die or 1-die the mummy and get a pow. the way they've been going so far. Anyway, Thrower steps into the backfield. 1 rat, of course, the preferred scorer, but at the end of the day, it's going to be one of the 2 big boys who most likely runs it in. Disturbing presence has to be accounted for. And that might have been a misstep, actually. Either not being near where the 1-turning rat is to provide that disturbing presence, it wouldn't have mattered. Because I believe they rolled a 5. And Ivan would have made it a 5+. But Ivan would have made it, harder, in theory. I suspect that might have been a thing. And yeah, that I provided extra. you know, I'm not a Blood Bowl god by any stretch. But even, you know, even in my eyes, when you put an extra guy available to be pushed into the one-turning rat that's not, you know, a guard guy or a big guy, he's just a random zombie, the Skaven will probably find a way, even if you can't see it in the moment, to make the big time play on him. Although it has to remember, it did require a red die to be a push or better, which doesn't always happen. It's not like it was a guaranteed move to free that up. It required a red die to be not even a red die to work, but a red die to be a push. Which is rough. So yeah, I don't think Dockmark will be too upset. Still got all his players, still got his star player tackle. Now they need to, he'll just be looking to apply himself now. Try and get the removals going and force a 1-1 and get to OT. Do the classic 2-1. Try and get rid of all the rats. I think I read. Yeah, I agree. I think the only improvement was, I don't know, maybe that extra gutter runner on the side was going to do something that I couldn't see. But having the disturbing presence in the area to make it a 5+, or even have the disturbing presence like stood here to make it a 6+, or make the dodge harder, that felt like the thing you had to do. But I say that there was probably a line where if you don't mark this guy, there's some sort of easy play. And yep, as you can see, the Skaven have picked it up and they will play as far away as they can. And this is really interesting to me because I always try and do this as an Agi team and I always mess up actually trying to score. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how Bopnot does it. Now granted, I tend not to play with 2 level 6 gutter runners, but still, hopefully the logic can apply to a less developed team such as mine. And we do get all the way away. No actual blocks for this is peak Skaven, isn't it? Their attack, there's nothing the undead can actually do. This is reminding me of playing Crystal Hunter once upon a time. He did exactly this in overtime. And I was dwarves. And he had the ball. So I ended up just standing all my guys in an anti-1 turn line along the width of the pitch and passed turn 5 times. Pretty sure that's all I did. And Dogmark is going to do something similar, I suspect. They will bring it all down to one big final 2-turn play. I don't know. It's hard. You need to try and do damage, but you're just too slow. Movement 4 and movement 3 against movement 7 line rats. The line rats are always going to stay away. And how patient will the undead be? So far it's been alright, but we're going to see... what's the chat? Are we about to see like 7 passes in a row in terms of pass turn? Obviously the thrower will be throwing vanity passes. You can bet on that. Needs that SVP. Who's close to a level? Wrath will probably be throwing vanity passes. And we're going to slowly take some ground. We've clearly counted the squares. We've realised that we can't be punched if we stand here. We can only be marked. So we'll get up a little bit closer. Put the blitzer here. We'll put like a storm. Put the storm vermins here. Yeah. 1 square back actually. Bit surprised. Although I suppose, oh, Ivan's in the neighbourhood. Yeah, that's a very, very good point, Brainlord. And I think, yeah, Dockmark has overlooked it. When you play against a 1-turning rat, retreating into your own half is a little bit worrying. Because, yeah, and Dockmark has realised the situation. He's like, oh, yeah, no, I got to actually cover the ground. And this might be a slight mistake because the zombie isn't going to be able to get there in time and they might not cover the width. But if we click on a gutter runner now, we can see they can't actually get that far. They can't get past it. And it's a slow creep. Very slow creep. Very important to keep Ivan as a safety, I think, here. Yep. He's your only tackle with any blitzing ability. And movement 6, he has to be dead in the middle if he wants to get to the sidelines. We're offering a straight shot Look at both coaches baiting here. Baiting line rats. Baiting our tackle star player with strength 4. Wanting the storm vermin to come charging in. But it's only a 1 die, so I doubt that bottom will be taking this bait. And indeed we're not. We're going to hang out. And step back 1 square. Got plenty of time. In fair play, at least Botmot's made his decision instantly and will have a very fast turn. It's not like he's taking 2 minutes to make this decision and wasting everybody's evening. Turn over. Yeah, centre offered, offering a nice bucket. A very tempting and empty bucket of space here. Although I actually don't think it's that tempting, let's be real. Like, there's no way you could even get the balls in. Yeah, pass. And pass. So having a little think about it. What can the Skaven do? Obviously the weakness is these 2 zombies here. We've gone for like some sort of umbrella to borrow the I call it an umbrella. On Fumble it's called a longbow, which I think is incredibly nerdy and British. I think an umbrella does the job, but like the weak points are clearly these 2 zombies. They're both very blitzable. And yeah. We'll see. A 1-1 obviously. Yeah, because Dolmont can always lose the overtime toss and then they will just 2-turn him. In a pretty brutal fashion. They might even 1-turn him. Because Dolmont might keep all his rerolls, win the kick, and just do 4 rerolls to his 1 turn. And then that'll be it for the Unearthed Arcana. In quite anticlimactic Skaven fashion. We'll hand it off. Fatsar has the ball. And pass the turn. Dogmark, over to you, sir. Now there are punches if we want to take some rushes. Unfortunately, the movement busted white. It's really not a good time to have a movement busted white. Yayo calling his shot. The rats will move to the right hand side in a couple of turns. So set your watches for turn 14, because apparently that's when something's going to happen. No. It's taking a little step. It's times like this where I really appreciate how good test match commentators are. Because there's so much dead air in those things. Right, step the ghouls. Still have our safety. Unmoved. And they step up to be able marked. I'm a little bit worried now. If I'm a Doc Mark fan, a little bit scared that now they go left because I actually no. Ivan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I miscounted. He can't actually go there. Fair enough. And the mummy's spreading out. A riveting contest. I haven't cast many high TV Skaven games. Or Skaven games in general. Part of being casting in Rebbl is that you don't see the agility teams very often. So I'm excited to see what happens here. In my head I don't get what the play is. Okay, now we're gonna do stuff. It looks like things are happening. And poor old Yayo called his shot on the right hand side. It looks like we're going left. Although knowing Skaven, it could always be a bait and switch. We'll see what happens. But anyway, it looks like we're lining up a blitz here onto Santa Mark over the weak link in the defense. Probably going to go with the kicker, as it doesn't require a rush. And I don't think we want to be re-rolling anything. And in comes the boys. We get a blitzer in an exciting place. Oh, okay, here we go. Boldenator's going to make the hit now that I see it. And the rats are going to screen. Mark up the mummy. Tie them down. That would imply we're going right. So yeah, once again is correct. Trying to tie up this mummy, and then if this one's so slow and he's over here, that implies we have to go right. Marking the wrestle on the left is interesting as well. I guess we're just marking anything that could potentially bring down a gutter runner. In which case, who's marking Ivan? Anyway, about to run into some time bank here. A little time bank check. Both coaches, it's very close between them. That's interesting. Normally there's a mismatch between one of the other coaches, but it's an even game and an even time bank. So Bopnot's going to drain some here. Quickly realizes there's nothing too much to think about that requires time bank, so they'll be taking some fast moves here. Ball's going to step up. And we are going to take this blitz, last action blitz onto center. And down they go. First block of the half. It's turn 13. We stay put. Not wanting to dodge through. Would require a rush. We're happy where we are. And setting up for a right of center move the next turn. And yeah, Mummy is going to be able to mark the vermin. I think it is probably just an honest mistake. Maybe there's some 9-head chests where this mark makes Dockmark panic and think, oh, he's going to go right. I need to get the Mummy over here. Mummy's actually going to blitz the claw. It's the best shot we've got, and it doesn't get a knockdown. So Bratty Liz tanks a hit. All good. Obviously no reroll for Dockmark here. Can't risk a dub. A dub skull would end his playoff run, so he doesn't want to risk that if he can't. 42. Mummy's actually going to step back to the left. And yeah, we've realised this is just probably an honest mistake from the Skaven player and not some sort of super strategy. We'll set up for our 3-die punch. Although, if we do move this... Who are we moving over here for the 3-die without weakening our screen? So maybe it will just have to be 2-die. We'll see how we go. Oh, we do bring someone in? There's alarm bells in my head at this. It's a little bit scary. You need to have a very comprehensive screen. We get our injury for our troubles. I'm a little bit worried it might cost us the playoff run. Yeah, Shin Shin is also showing my concerns. And wow, I get it now when you're Skaven. You hang out for 4 to 5 turns, not taking any blocks against you. And then you get closer, about halfway through, and see what they do. And then unless they have a perfectly symmetrical setup, you just try and find, you know, the favoured way to go through them, and then you go through them. And oh my, this is... Ooh, I'm not a fan. And I think Doc Mark's realised that something's gone wrong and the rats will get through, and now Ivan's running for the hills to try and cover off the gutter runner breach, which is, I want to say, inevitable. I could be wrong, but in my head it's just a 2-die block because the guard plugs in. We get a 2-die block, and then just a 1-die, one dodge. If we knock down and follow with our brutish, it's just a straight 2+ through 1 tackle zone. Don't know whether that's actually the line, but in my head that's the easiest line. It doesn't require, I mean, obviously it requires a knockdown, but when this guy's got wrestle, it's just a little bit of a sketchy block. I don't know what the solution is if it doesn't work as well. But anyway, this is why I'm watching the Skaven coach. I'm here to learn. And we instead go for the whites and we get the knockdown. It's easy when you just roll a 5. And now it's a free walkthrough. We get our break. And a KO. Skaven have done some damage. And now Bratty Liz can mark the safety. This is an actually 4+ no break tackle safety. So Bratty Liz does the job by herself here. On Ivan. I suspect we might even wrap Ivan up with an extra gutter standing here, and then Ivan really can't do anything. And that's all she wrote. It's going to be a 2-1, unfortunately, for old Dockmark. Getting Skavened. A pretty brutal Skavening. Not much interaction here. It's reminding me of the old quest rogue that activated their quest on turn 4. And then if they did that, you kind of just lost. That's what we're getting flashbacks to here. Anyway, we don't do that line, but we've got so many fast pieces. We might just chuck a couple line. We'll probably chuck a couple line rats on this guy instead. Yeah, the 3-die bait, and it worked. It did work, didn't it? He pulled a piece back onto the LOS from where I was screened. This piece would now be like here, or here, or something. Stopping this run through, or at least making it slightly harder. And all at the cost of a serious injury for Cart's Baldinator Rasp. Sorry, it's a dislocated shoulder. Which is in fact a strength burst. So it did it retired a Baldinator. Well, someone with the nickname Baldinator. But if you're the rat coach, you're pretty happy about that. And here comes the super cage. I think a war dancer would struggle here, but when we've only got a zombie, it's as good as done. But yeah, a short stint in the playoffs for Docmark. Unfortunately, they got a very unlucky draw, I'd say. They won their first game in the preliminary round, and they had a very good season down in G-Man Fresh. Got in late. He was always hovering around the playoff picture in G-Man Fresh. There's a lot of undead teams. He was definitely the best one of them. And managed to get in. But now, unfortunately, for all that work over the last few months, he's down to what would be a very suicidal dive into 3 tackle zones. Although, if you do, the nice thing about Blood Bowl is that 18% is actually quite a likely thing to happen in the grand scheme of things. So you've always got some chance of getting a bailout. You know, about to make a Greek government joke, but that's incredibly out of date. Probably a British government joke, the way things are going. I wanted to make it. Anyway, it's going to be Casimir with the dive, most likely. Fortunately, all the tackles have been completely marked out the game. This tackle's off in the wide zone, covering the left-hand side. Your star player safety that cost you 200k did not work, and we aren't even doing the dive. We're going to just go for the super gutter. Sidestep does its work. It's a bit of a limp exit, has to be said. When somebody kill these rats, Mr. Botplot claims another playoff scalp. Docmark might be a bit annoyed that I'm writing his obituary on turn 14, but I am also trying to do a little bit of slight cursing to try and make it interesting. I doubt it'll work, but you got to give it everything you've got as a caster. In we come. Ghouls trying to get in the way. Mummy can't even do too much. Ivan can't even get a knockdown here. Oh no, he can. It's the frenzy hour. I was hovering over the wrong piece. No break. Ivan pretty useless, all told. I get to ban a bot. My favourite part of every playoff stream. Amazing. These things are pure vermin. Much like the Skaven. There we go. And yeah, I think we're contemplating a 6+ walk-in to try and make things hard. We don't even do that. We're gonna play good old-fashioned, sensible Blood Bowl, and I think we're gonna lose the game, sadly. Right, what's the situation for your rat man? Guard Mummy is annoying here. But we can free up Patchy Run if we so choose. Now Bratty Liz is not in the greatest pause. Bratty Liz actually can't do much. This is not bad. And we do unfortunately 1 in 9, so we don't get our Frenzy Blitz, but I'm sure we can just, there must be a 1 die in here somewhere. Because we have Horns, so we do actually have Strength 3. Yeah, we are just going to Horns Blitz for a 2-die block. Push is not good enough. We do have 4 rerolls, but we'd rather use those on the dodges. We'll follow this. And yeah. Oh, I see the move. Okay, now we're going to get a 1 die. Or not. A little bit surprised at that extra dodge. In my head, either we're like getting a 1-die, or I see. We're going to try and win the game and also get some much important SPP on Sated Prey. I'm a little bit worried this just leaves us at the risk of failing a dodge. Or, anyway, we're going to run through. Do we just score? We don't just score. Okay. Bob not making it interesting, wanting to prioritize SPP on the lower leveled gutter. We will stall a turn and hope that Sated Prey survives the turn, and then I suspect we're going to try and make a handoff if it's possible. Bosh! Just a stun. A rare break. Not many blocks this half whatsoever. And yeah, this rat is pretty stuck. All we can do is 3+ and step away. We don't do that though. We keep them marked up on the... I'm a little bit surprised on the turn order here. I feel like this is a more valuable piece than the thrower. I'd rather them dodge first. Either way, they both go. No worries, no dramas. Finally fail a dice roll, and it's on the least important one. We re-roll it. We really want to keep this tackle away. Fair enough. And with the match looking in hand and 4 rerolls in the bank, sensible reroll from Botnot there. Recognizing just how favoured they are, not wanting to take any chances. We're even thinking about where we're going to put the kicker, because we can go 3+, 3+. And maybe stand here on... I think he's going to do something like this. Unfortunately, we don't make the dodge. And we re-roll... Is that a... No, he didn't hit re-roll, did he? He does. One of those the re-roll. Into a stun. One of those a dodge, I should say. Where's my voice? And there we go. 2 re-rolls gone. Darkmar, unfortunately, the horn... Unless we kill the horns piece outright on the blitz, I suspect there will be an easy blitz out. But if we can break it, get it off the pitch, then we may... There is snake opportunities here. Sometimes they do dub skull. You're going to get a 2-die hit onto the supporting line rat. And we'll be able to hopefully get back in front of the storm vermin. Although maybe it's Ivan's time to shine. He's going to come in, walk in with the rushes and just rock the world of the Skaven coach. And he comes. No, he's going for the Horns guy. And does get the Horns guy. Desperately wants a break from his star player here. And gets it. And a serious injury. Another serious injury. So a couple of MNGs. Although it is the least favourite gutter. And now he'll be out for the next round. But strength 4 in position, it will now be just a 2+ roll. A 97%er. Looking very statistically likely. Hey, we get a nice little end of game block here onto Bratty Liz if we want to take it. Perhaps might be wanting to dodge. Perhaps might be wanting to dodge to get in front. Yeah. But that would be forcing a red die push surf score situation. Although I suspect Doc might go fresh if for 6 months or take a break. The 6-week mini season might actually get a lot of people re-rolling to fun teams. Yeah, we do try and get in front. Doesn't quite work, unfortunately. I think we rolled a 1 into a 3. Sorry, a 3 into a 1. And so yes, we are in 2+ land for the Skaven. A lovely place to be. Bopnot has lived most of the career here, I think. We will just have to walk away from the tackle like he doesn't exist. And as we do, 2-1, turn 16. The confused Knaves notch up another. And Docmark praying for a timeout or to extend him and give him a 2-turn chance. I doubt there has any 1-turn potential here. No sidestep, no frenzy, more importantly. So pushing this movement 7 will be difficult. We do have 3 rerolls to do it, so expect him to try his best. But unfortunately, the strength of the matchup for the Skaven was just so insurmountable. The wizard was required just to not lose in 4 turns. And it did do that job, but it just goes to show the power of skills on very strongly statted pieces. He'll set up here for his 1 turn attempt. You have it. And we did the kicker survive? They did. So we can, what I suspect will most likely happen is we'll see a kick very deep, maybe back to this row here. We'll have to throw a long bomb with a ghoul just to even try it. I think Elizabeth Durst has to take the field to be an intermediary here. Otherwise this gets far too unlikely. Although with it being movement 7, no frenzy, you might need every single other piece to be part of the actual, you know, 1 turn in terms of the pushing. So this is one thing I never get. In my head, the guy getting pushed should be stood where this zombie is. Assuming we're going in on this rat. In my head, they should be here. Because then the blitz gives you a push. Whereas I feel like at the moment, the blitz doesn't give you a push. It makes you move sideways. Because this guy doesn't have sidestep. So I feel like you go like this. He's actually stood here. And you go push, 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 push. Dot mark. Maybe we are just going for damage. I don't know. I guess we are just going for damage. Okay, a bit unfortunate because we had 4 rerolls to try this. I feel like something went wrong there. Although if you ask me to play against this Skaven team with this undead team for 16 turns, I would also be losing my mind at this point in time. So I can't be too critical. Anyway, that's all, folks. I suspect what happened was Doc Mark saw the kick and thought, oh, it's impossible, and just tried to get some SVP for next season. Or try and at least kill a line. He tried to kill a Boldinator. He wanted the special role. But yeah, unfortunate. Gonna go for some vanity passing. Don't even get that. And the yellow v yellow matchup is over. Mr. Bopnot cruises through in the end. Confused Knaves not really breaking much sweat. A little bit of worry when the star player, one of the star players, got bolted and turned into a frog. But the frog did only get knocked out. They survived. And that is that.